There's a bear on the loose, and it's coming for everybody in the Big 12. We're talking about it on the Big 12 Squad.
You're talking ball with the Big 12 Squad. From Oklahoma State to Utah, from Kansas State to BYU, from Houston to Texas Tech, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big 12 weekend. Buckle up. It's the Big 12 Squad, and we have a seat for you. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up. You're part of the Big 12 Squad.
Welcome into the Big 12 Squad, everybody. I'm Jake Hatch, host of Locked On Cougars, covering all things BYU, filling in for our good friend Drake Toll as the host of this here program. Right next to me digitally is Darian Gray, host of Locked On TCU. Next to him, Cody Stovall, Locked On Oklahoma State. We got JT Wistersill of some program called Locked On Utes, who is on a 3-game losing streak to the vaunted BYU Cougars. Below him, Mountaineer Paul from Locked On West Virginia, Kevin Borba, Locked On Buffs, who are going to beat Utah this weekend, and Nick Maravets from Locked On Cyclones. All right, everybody. The BYU Cougars have just essentially ended Cal Whittingham's tenure in Salt Lake City, and they have a 3-game win streak over their rivals. So, how scared is everybody of Behren Bachmeier right now?
You got to be scared of him. He doesn't make mistakes. I think every team
threw 2 picks before against West Virginia.
I know, but they're not like, I don't know. They haven't cost BYU yet, right?
That's right.
In any of these games, he hasn't made a freshman mistake that takes him out of the game, and that's sort of been the whole thing. And he's also an aggressive runner that is extremely hard to tackle. So, got to be a little scared of him.
I don't know what was the worst part of the past couple of days. The fact that we lost to BYU for a 3rd time, the fact that Behren Bachmeier tore us up for some big plays, or the fact that because of technical difficulties, I had to listen to that bear pun that Jake said in the open 4 different times. I don't know what was the worst one.
It's all for you, JT, buddy. Yeah, so here's the thing. We're looking at a little bit of a jumble at the top of the Big 12 right now because Cincinnati and BYU, if you had that on your scorecard, kind of the halfway mark of the Big 12 race is them leading the conference. You may, approach the window now and cash in on that. How surprised is everybody with how things are panning out in the conference, or are we all kind of expecting this to be par for the course?
Well, I mean, there's 11 teams that are within 2 games. That's normal for the Big 12. Who's at the actual top isn't as surprising to me, but I'm not shocked that going into halfway of conference play, it's kind of still anybody's game.
I didn't think either of the 2 teams would be at the top. I got to be honest. I'll say I was wrong right away. I think a lot of us thought that Scott Satterfield was going to be his last year with Cincinnati. We didn't believe in Sorsby and a lot of things they had going on. And I'll say this for BYU. I looked at a true freshman quarterback, the way they won last year, and I thought they would regress and give the Cougars all the credit in the world. They continue to find ways to win these narrow games, and that's a skill for a team like Utah that has lost a lot of them these last 2 years too. So give these 2 programs a lot of credit. I am stunned that Tech lost. I didn't think Tech was going to lose a Big 12 game. I thought they looked that good the few games before. So that was the biggest shocker of the week, honestly, for me.
Okay, the question I've got for you, JT, is Devin Dampier still going to be top 10 in the Heisman Trophy race?
You know what? If he's held, no, he's not. He ain't anywhere close to the top 10 of the Heisman. That I don't know if that's one of the worst takes I've had because I talked about my other take with the fans in the stands the last week before, but he's not going to be there.
We'll get to Mr. 40% in a minute here.
Hey, Mr. Jake Cat, I would like to take at least a baby lap while I poop on Utah. Since my Cowboys aren't winning any football games, I did mention in the very beginning of the season that I thought BYU would be pretty good because last time I checked, you had like 85% of your returning roster coming back, and you weren't going to have the complacency issues that we saw at Oklahoma State this previous season, both seasons now with the staff, essentially. So I did think BYU was going to be pretty good. That was with Jake Retzlaff. So the fact that you're able to do it with Behren Bachmeier is crazy. I never thought that there would ever come a day where I'd be a fan of a dude named Bear, but here we are, and he happens to be a BYU Coug. I love it, man. Oh, yeah, that's because Utah sucks something fierce. That's why.
I still remember when Cody thought he was like, why are people higher on Utah than Oklahoma State coming into the year? That was my favorite Cody comment.
Yeah, well, Hoss Haney's still better than Devin Dampier, okay? And we're gonna see it again soon enough.
Cody and I actually had to do a video today on who had the worst team in the league. We did that. And our second segment was
who's there consensus on this, though?
Well, I don't know if we couldn't come to one, but here's how
I think we kind of did. We kind of did because we're playing a little bit better, and West Virginia's playing a little bit worse. So
as the year goes on, it would seem so. But our second segment was whose 4th string quarterback is better or worse, and then we had to finish it off with Can basketball please save us?
That's right.
Can basketball please save us? Because we both won secret scrimmages. That's where our football teams are right now. We're hanging on to secret scrimmage results.
We didn't have a secret scrimmage. Don't you throw that?
Same thing.
Don't throw us under that bus. It is not
Same
the same
thing.
What used to
It
be
is
secret
not.
scrimmages, because trust me, BYU was in Nebraska on Saturday morning playing hoops. So yeah, good time.
What happened in that one? It was secret, so I didn't see the result of that one.
Oh, if you had to watch it on Big Ten Plus, they ended up losing. So
I knew. I knew. I just wanted to say it.
Hey, I got to ask also, Darian, we got the cigar going here. What's going on, my man?
Ooh, there we go.
No, I'm loving your hosting duties, Hatch. Like I must admit, but Drake ran. All right, I have to tell the people. I have to tell the people what happened. Drake understood that TCU knocked off Baylor. This wasn't the time for him to come in. I went and bought my cigar. No one told me ahead of time, and don't ask me to light it because we follow rules at TCU, and I would have to report violations. I know Baylor's not necessarily familiar with that, but that being said, nice victory cigar, and everybody can't partake, but I can.
The rivalry belongs in Fort Worth. There we go.
So what you're saying is there's a bear in the Big 12 everybody's scared of, but it's not in Waco.
No, it's not in Waco. It's not in Waco. It's not in Fort Worth. It's not even in Texas. It's staying.
If a bear poops in Waco, does it make a sound or?
There we go.
I don't know. I think everybody tries to evacuate.
Look around here, Paul, keeping it PG with the poops versus the other word.
Hey, we all know that if a bear poops in the stadium, nobody is alive to see it because there's nobody ever in their stadium.
Poop's a funny word, though. You know what I mean? If you're going to go comedic route, poop's kind of a funny word too.
Hey, JT and the Utes are very used to feces ending up on certain
Hatch, I got a request.
I thought you were talking about with
you switch me and Paul, and I take my hat off so the whole row can be hats, and then I'll be on the bottom. It will be the hatless crew. I thought I tried to fit in, but now I just feel like I'm leaving.
There we go.
There we go.
So get that out of here, guys.
Because JT knows all about. There's this famous thing called the concourse crapper at Rice Eccles. JT, you want to fill us in on that?
Yeah,
I'll let you fill the people in on that. I thought you were going to talk about when Tyler Huntley called y'all doo-doo a couple years ago, which looking back on it, since we called y'all doo-doo, we're 0-3.
That's the curse. The curse of you so poo-poo is upon
you. Oh, poo-poo, that was it. You're right.
Yes. Yeah, so obviously Tyler Huntley now with the Baltimore Ravens. The last time Utah beat BYU afterwards, he used a famous quote, "They so poo-poo, we never going to lose to them again. Y'all can tweet that." That's his. That was the quote he used. Wow.
But did he ever lose to them again?
No, he did not.
Well, he never lied, kind of.
Okay, this time I'm not poo-pooing on Utah, but real question, isn't this why Utah never wanted BYU in the same conference? Because they thought that if BYU had more access, they would be instantaneously a better fit to potentially beat Utah?
Depends on who you ask about.
I was asking JT.
Okay.
So Jake, I'm curious to hear Jake's thoughts on that.
Well, here's the thing. BYU, I know of at least 2 or 3 people because I came up in sports media during the independent era for BYU. So essentially Utah, they had the upper hand. There's no doubt about it as members of the Pac-12. But I had at least 2 or 3 people that are well-known figures within BYU who told me in no uncertain terms the day they thought BYU got back on level terms with Utah, the results would speak for themselves. And I think you can see that evident right now.
Right now, it's absolutely the case. I had never heard that about them not wanting BYU in the same one. I'm thrilled that they are because I'm glad we get another chance at them next year. Like, I couldn't imagine having to lose, and then have to wait like 3 years to play them again. That's the only thing that gives me hope is the fact that we could try to avenge this next year because, as Jake said on his show, when even I think you said one of the BYU coaches said, Jake, like, now it is officially a streak, and that's painful for Utah to have to realize.
I'm calling poo-poo on that. You're telling me you covered Utah and you never heard anybody say that they didn't want BYU in the same conference. That's why they didn't want BYU in the Pac-12.
I want to go to the Big Ten.
I think
if I asked myself the same question, would I want Marshall to go P4? No, I wouldn't want him to go P4, to be honest. I mean, if you're asking me, I like them down there, and I like saying we're 12-0 against them. If they went P4, I don't know, man. You never know. I
think everybody of them like they're better than their like in-state G5 rival. Former
Utah enjoyed a nice 12-year run amidst that 9-game win streak they had. They were loving the fact they held the Cougars down. There's no doubt about that.
I'd like to think that we're better than Tulsa, but
is there a way we could find out? Or
all right. On that front, JT already kind of talked about it. The Cincinnati Bearcats, they have kind of been a surprise story along with BYU this season. Are they the next Arizona State? We're going to get into that next as the Big 12 squad rolls on right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Quo, formerly known as Open Phone. Now, if you are a business owner and you need to get your phone services, it is the best place to do it. It's the best phone system you've heard us talk about before, just with the new name. Here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. With every customer conversation counting, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. It is the #1 business phone system. It streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying two phones or relying upon a landline. The best part is about Quo is their built-in AI agent is a game changer, answering after-hours calls, capturing leads, and keeping your business moving forward, even when you are off the clock. If you're a solo operator juggling everything or part of a larger team, Quo makes it easy to stay responsive and professional. See why 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started for free. Get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That's QUO.com/lockedoncollege. You can even keep your same existing number for free. That's Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season is ongoing. They've got an incredible offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, plop down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 to use across the platform or on their website. The best part about FanDuel, you can many different ways to play. Parlays, player props, futures, odds. With hoop seasons on the way, you may want to get started with that. It's all available to you guys. You can follow live lines during the games. It makes watching football that much more fun when you got something riding on the action. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. That's FanDuel.com with our friends over at FanDuel. Thank you once again for making Locked On Big 12 your first listen of the day, everybody. I'm filling in for Drake Toll. I'm Jake Hatch, host of Locked On Cougars. All right, everybody. Our good friend Jeff Carr is not here to obviously pump up the Cincinnati Bearcats, but are they the next Arizona State? Are they going to come out of seemingly nowhere, pick near the bottom, if not the bottom, and win this conference?
Guys, they're good. They're good. Like I just told you, we played an adequate football game against them. We had 377 yards of offense. We had 163 yards rushing on the ground. We look like a semblance of a football team, but they have a ton of NFL players or potential. That tight end, he's an NFL draft pick all day, every day. Brendan Sorsby's going to get drafted. They've got a couple offensive linemen that are problematic. Their defensive line, Dante Corleone's going to be a draft pick.
Best name in the league, Dante Corleone, man.
Cincinnati is good. That's what I'm saying. That's why there's excitement in Boone Pickens, because we could see we were playing pretty decent football. We could also see that by the end of the fourth quarter, they were just so much physically better than we were. And it reminded me of Arizona State last year when Cam Scadaboo said, I'm on a mission against Oklahoma State, and he had like 389 all-purpose yards against us. That's what Cincinnati did. It was a close ball game, closer than the score is indicative of, but their talent at the end of the game was just way too much. They are that good.
That sounds like I would pump the brakes on Arizona State level good. I mean, their schedule.
Maybe not quite that good, but
the only team they played that's worth a damn is Kansas. Really, they lost at Nebraska, right?
Well, they played Iowa State. So, I mean, Nick's down there.
Whoa.
Damn, Paul.
Well, I don't have every game memorized. I forgot. I'm sorry, Nick.
I mean,
you got Nick is here, everybody. So go ahead, Nick.
Goodness. No, and to Cody's point, like they are very good, but Iowa State did not play their best game against them. My biggest thing with them right now is the penalties. That was kind of the story of the Iowa State game against them. That was what got Iowa State back in that game. So if they can just stay clean, I think they're very talented. They're very good, but penalties can quickly dismantle a team in just any game.
JT knows all about that. That's what.
Well played. No, and I'm really quick. I'm with Mountaineer Paul. Like I think they're a really good team. I'm not ready to call them like the team in this conference, especially because I know they lost guys. I still think Tech is the class of the Big 12. They lost to the backup quarterback. Granted, a backup quarterback that beat Utah, but that D line, that team is still scary. It took ASU's best shot to get him. I still think Tech is going to win this league. So therefore, I'm not going to call Cincinnati the next ASU if I don't think they're going to win it. But I do think that game against BYU, Cincinnati BYU, that's a conference title game, elimination game, just like the ASU BYU game was last year.
That's what I was going to say is looking at the rest of their schedule, they really only play BYU and TCU. They've got gimmies against Baylor, Utah, and Arizona.
Wait a minute.
So
Hey, how dare you, sir? How dare you, sir? Wait a minute.
Three
Wait a
wins,
minute.
right?
It's
there.
actually
I defended
a pretty
you
tough
a
schedule
second.
on the way out.
It's a favorable
By the
schedule.
way,
I mean,
Corleone's
they
not-
get
he's not
they
even
get
the best-
BYU at home. They get
Sorry, Kevin.
sorry, no, it's okay. I was just saying they get BYU at home. So like their toughest game left on their schedule is at home, and I think they kind of have a lot of momentum.
I'm curious what you guys think, not of Cincinnati, but of Houston. I don't necessarily think Houston's super good, but who do they have left besides Arizona State?
Yeah.
Like, is the schedule literally just going to give them the Big 12 championship, or at least a contention? Like,
Guys, we got to give Parker credit. He did mention that. One of the biggest reasons why Parker said they could win 7+ games was the schedule.
that's what I was.
He's going to be talking about football in December. He's not going to be talking about basketball.
I know. I cannot believe
I
that.
didn't sleep on TCU, Darren. Don't. But I'm just
I
saying.
have to look at my
You got
prediction.
West Virginia, UCF, and Baylor.
Darren, he got shaded twice. He was like, Cincinnati doesn't play anyone. Like everyone that TCU plays, he's like, they don't play anyone. It's fine.
Digging, I'm like, hold on, guys. I'm trying to go through the schedules. And every time I get to the schedule, y'all moved on. I said, wait a minute. wait a minute, okay?
Put some respect on Josh Hoover's name, right?
Put some respect on the name. And you know what I think is interesting? I'll say this. I do think BYU gets TCU. I'm not
No.
delusional. I think BYU does get TCU, especially with that game being in BYU. But it'll be interesting. You say that it's a conference title elimination game. Well, what do we think happens with BYU? Let's say that they only lose to Cincinnati. Then they're looking at one loss. And I know we could get into a whole bunch of tiebreakers, but
True.
They do have that tiebreaker over Tech, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no. So BYU plays Tech in 3 weeks.
No, excuse me, not Tech. They have it
Utah
over.
lost the game to
Somebody
Tech.
has it over Tech.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't remember the Utah one. Maybe that didn't happen.
My bad. Arizona State has it over Tech. That's who I was thinking about.
No, but to your point, Darian, that's the thing. BYU, they talked all off season about how close they were a season ago, and they lost out due to tiebreakers because of the losses that they absorbed after the Utah game. And that's the interesting point about this, JT, is we talk often about the rivalry game and the impact it has on both these programs. Well, BYU's got to go to Iowa State, go to Ames this week, and me and Nick obviously will be talking about that. Well, Utah hosts Colorado. Guess what happened last year, the week after BYU and Utah played? They played Colorado. So that this is going to be interesting to see how these two programs absorb the punches that they absorbed in this rivalry series and see if it affects the race, because it very well could, but I think both programs learned a hard lesson a season ago.
The rivalry letdown is legit, especially the emotions and the highs and how much goes into the Utah BYU rivalry. So I do think I'm curious to see how they'll do. Utah's a massive favorite on FanDuel right now, 13.5 over a Buffs team, especially even with the Utah quarterback questions. I find that very interesting. Really quick on the Houston thing.
Ready, baby.
What were you saying, Hatch? Go.
Caden Salter's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, he might be. And I'll let one of y'all jump in a second, but I just want to say on the Houston really quick, I feel the same way as someone else mentioned. I think they're a really good team, but their resume is just not impressive yet. So I'm waiting for them to beat that team where it's like, oh, wait, they've arrived. Right now, it's almost been like you scheduled a lot of them, because I still just don't think Arizona's very good. I know Arizona's gotten some wins on the year, but it's just
they're much improved.
Competition.
They're much improved.
Much improved. And really quick, Jake, I want to ask you this. Is this BYU team, you keep finding ways to win. Why can this BYU team be different than last year's team? Because you kept finding ways to win last year, but you stumbled in key spots.
I think it's the fact that they stumbled last year and they realized they may have overstepped the mark, I guess is probably the best term to use, because Kansas last year, they came rolling into Provo, and Kansas was rolling at that time last year, admittedly. But I think BYU had their eye on Arizona State the week after that and literally just looked beyond the mark, and that cost them. They stumbled. That's the whole thing about this year. You ask them to look ahead at any point. I'm telling you, coaches, players, anybody else I've talked to, they are very quick to say, no, we're focused on the here and now, because they know how close they were. The crazy thing is last year, had BYU beaten Kansas and lost to Houston in the regular season finale, they still would have been in Arlington. It all came down to the strength of record.
Jake, you said it, and you said it in the very
last year.
You said it in the very beginning, Hatch. It's because y'all got a bear and he be coming. That's the difference.
Cody's been waiting all episode to get that off. Like, he's been waiting for it. But he said, you know what? It's not happening. I'm just going to say it. Like,
I'm going to make it happen.
He forced it out, didn't he?
Well, I
Fit
thought
right in.
that would be a good segue for Jake to go to the next ad, but evidently
Well,
not.
It is.
Before we do, though, I just want to say Dante Corleone's not the best name on the Cincinnati team. Matthew
that?
McDoom is the best.
Okay, fair.
That's fair.
Hey, if you're a Godfather fan, though, Dante Corleone, man, it's just it goes
Yes.
right in line.
Yes.
So-
Better than Matthew McDoom? No way.
Yeah.
Give me Corleone.
All right. Coming up next is Texas Tech a fraud? We're going to discuss
Whoa.
on the Locked On Big 12 Squad. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS top safety pick awards than anybody else. They do more for those who do more than simply move. From footwork to breath work, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings that same intention to how they craft every single model as well. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery, making everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive control. So like our players, we sweat every single detail, because when we make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. It's all courtesy of friends over at Mazda. Move and be moved. Big 12 squad rolling on here. All right, everybody. Behren Morton is the most banged up day-to-day quarterback I have seen in all of college football. And it seems like there's a question out there that what is Texas Tech with him versus without him? JT knows all about without him, because Will Hammond just went, ham.
Never misses a chance.
Never.
No.
That's why it's no different than when Drake and him are hosting. It's a Locked On Cougs host either way.
Hey. Play the hits.
Vitriol on that.
Play the hits. That's right.
But ASU this past week found a way against seemingly I felt like when Tech scored against ASU to take that lead, it felt like, all right, they're going to find a way through. And to ASU's credit, Sam Levitt, much like Behren Morton, seems to kind of be the heart and soul of ASU. Drives them right down the field. They score a touchdown, and it throws a wrench in the Big 12 race. But JT, to your point, I don't think any of us are counting Tech about them rebounding and getting right back into the race here.
You had quite the tease causing them frauds going to the Drake Toll school of headlines there. My goodness.
Well, but the question is, if Behren Morton is out any longer, are they fraudulent without him at the helm?
I guess it depends on how good you think ASU is. I still think they're a top 5 team in this league. I just think they didn't have their quarterback in Salt Lake City. It was a bad recipe that day.
I have a ton to say, but I want to let everybody else speak first, because I talk way too damn much.
No, I think JT has a good point. I think that, honestly, I do feel like people have just kind of disregarded Arizona State at times, or cut them out of the conversation as if they didn't belong there. I think they've had some losses that were a little tough to swallow. Like, they lost big to Utah, but like JT mentioned, they didn't have their starting quarterback. They lost to
Mississippi
State in the beginning of the year. But
embarrassing.
One thing we've seen is Arizona State is a squad. They shouldn't be counted out in any game. And I think that same attitude should be taken towards the season, especially when you look at some of the guys that they have or some of the teams they have on the schedule. They got Houston. So if we're talking about Houston, they can get them out of here, which is a fellow one-loss team. They can take out, and that's Iowa State, West Virginia, Colorado, Arizona. You went out and you have games like Cincinnati versus BYU or BYU versus Tech. I think that this could look a lot different when we get to the end of the season and we're comparing schedules and what paths other people have to go through. The idea of what I believe that Arizona State will have to go through compared to some of their peers at the top of the conference is different, and those things matter. So I'm not ready to count them out as far as resume or upcoming schedule or just quality of team.
Shouldn't they be downgraded for this? Come on, now. This is like
Oh my!
That's the one thing me and Jake can agree on. That's the one thing.
Come on.
Hate it. It just looks like Temple 2 times. That's what it looks like.
It's exactly. You're right, Darian. It looks like Temple. You just, I like that. That alone should downgrade Texas.
It looks like somebody who can't even spell the word Temple designed that thing. It looks like I made that thing up.
So they took the bevels out of it, right? That's what they did.
Okay, and that's the other thing.
They lost to the Devils the next week. Is there any connection?
Oh, that's a fair
That's
point.
my headline.
No bevel, no devil dub.
Okay, but they're also not allowing them to throw tortillas, boys. So like, what is?
Well, I thought the rules could change, but traditions wouldn't. That's what I thought was happening.
Kirby Hocutt saying that you're going to have your ticket privileges revoked.
It's different when you get fined and when they start finding
It's
you.
different once the pocket's affected.
Rich Rodriguez said he would pay the fine in advance.
Okay, maybe we could just like hold our tortillas and wave them.
Oklahoma State fans are going to show up with tortillas stuffed in wonderful places just for this ball game. Fellas,
St. Bill Snyder.
when we need a penalty, there might be a tortilla flying.
It's literally a free 15 yards for any away fan. I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I guarantee there will be BYU fans. If this is going to hold, When they go down to Lubbock in a few weeks' time, they'll sneak a tortilla or two in and be tossing it when they need it.
Can't
I
you
told
just
people to
dress in
sneak
Texas
pocket
Tech
knives
stuff and
in.
do that, and then like penalize them, like oh, this Texas Tech fan sucks, and you're just like constantly throwing flour corn tortillas out there. Like, is that the best way to defend
Good
Texas
idea.
Tech? Is that the best way to defend it? Is that
It might be. It's like the old Eddie Guerrero move where you hit yourself and like act like you got hit, fall down.
Oh,
That's what you have to do. That's the equivalent of
Kevin,
it. Really.
hold on. If there's anywhere in the country that would bring back tar and feathering, it might be Lubbock, Texas. So don't give them too many good ideas. Don't give them too many good ideas.
What a foghorn leghorn take that was. I see it.
We got tarred and feathering on the show today. This is wow.
I was watching a George Washington documentary earlier. I do apologize. Hey, he had wooden teeth, by the way, just in case you were curious.
Hey Nick,
That was a myth.
Hey, Nick, are y'all getting?
No, it's real. Well,
Hey,
they're
Nick.
horse. Yeah.
Nick, are y'all making up? I need BYU to lose at some point here along the way. If Utah
No, you
wants to have a
don't.
chance to get
No,
in,
you don't.
can y'all get an upset bid on the road for me?
I think so. And Iowa State's favored right now. I was actually curious if we'd get around to this. Jake,
BYU's been an underdog all season, boys, and they're 7-0.
they have been.
Right on ahead.
They have been. No, and I'm curious. This is a genuine question. I saw this on Twitter, so I thought I'd come straight to the horse's mouth. Is it possible that BYU's betting lines are skewed because BYU fans don't bet very much? Like, is that a reason?
110%.
That's so interesting to me.
Are they allowed to, or is that just like not something they do?
Here's the thing.
Honor code. Yeah.
It's not an honor code violation. That, to be clear,
Oh.
members of the faith can wager if they want to. It's just been strongly encouraged not to by church leadership for many, many years. And I'm telling you, the vast majority of members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they do not wager on sport. They don't gamble. There's a famous quote from Lavelle Edwards back in the day that LDS fans will go to Las Vegas with a $20 bill and a copy of the 10 Commandments and won't break either one.
Do they do LDS? Do they do where they have to get back to the church, tithing and stuff?
Yes. 10% of their income is contributed back to the church, and a lot of that quote unquote disposable income is that it goes back to the church versus
Makes
where
sense.
they've gone to sports wagering and the like.
Makes sense.
So if they hit big, they have to share it anyway, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about this. If you do decide, and trust me, I've got some buddies who are members of the faith. They place bets and they contribute 10% of their winnings right back to the church. So
There we go.
Hey,
point,
Paul,
JT,
Paul, I want to hear your thoughts before I unload on Texas Tech because they ain't got a bear and they don't be coming.
they do have an LDS quarterback, though.
All right, fair play.
You want to hear my thoughts on what exactly?
I
He didn't have anywhere to go with
I
that.
don't know. I just,
Oh, okay.
Just like say something. Paul. Save
One
me.
time, I told you guys the story about my dad when we were fishing at the pier.
Yeah.
He had to reach into the fish's
Best got to
mouth.
say that too.
Did I tell you guys about this?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, please go.
I know I've told you before.
Darian hadn't heard it.
There's
Okay,
new.
well, we were
there's new
fishing
audience
we're fishing in Tampa, Florida, and my dad has a prosthetic arm, and so he liked to play jokes on people. It was flesh covered, of course, and he would wear long sleeves, as so to hide it because people would ask him random questions, and he would lie and say an alligator bit it off or a bear bit it off. But he hooked into a hammerhead shark that was 3 feet long. It was like a younger one, and my dad just always reaches in and pulls the hook out. It's what he does. And so my dad had really good comedic timing with this kind of thing. And I'm a kid. I'll never forget it. As he reached down to this hammerhead's mouth, it's chomping his arm away. This old lady is looking down at him with this horrific face. And so with great comedic timing, he popped that thing out and went, ah!
Well, he didn't give us the physical representation last time, Darian. He didn't give us the dolphin wave last time.
And so that's how Mel Gibson came up with the Passion of the Christ.
Out of bed. Hey, speaking of the Passion of the Christ, Texas Tech, I hope, is a fraud because when did they turn into Utah fans? Last week is the first time in my life that I saw Texas Tech fans talking about how now I know how Utah feels. This is a trash conference. We're holding this conference up. Without Texas Tech, this conference would be terrible. When did this happen? And
They saw the Discord.
Justice of them losing to Arizona State after all of this week of them trashing the Big 12.
Bunch of Swifties.
Dude, I honestly have Texas fans been hiding in the minds with Utah fans waiting to break out and talk a bunch of crap and finally had their opportunity just to get double poked in the rear end by a devil horn.
That's quite the take there, Cody. I will say this. How much more? I think one of the reasons Tech is so high, right, is how much more are they spending on their roster, do you think, than Oklahoma State is?
Well, they spent 28 and we spent almost 14.
Yeah,
that's
so
14 million.
That top 3 transfer portal class. I think that's why they feel like they're the class in this conference.
Yeah, here we go.
Well,
I mean, Arizona State probably spent 15, 16-ish, maybe, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Likely.
I'm pretty sure Iowa State spent 5 or 6.
Oh, well.
West Virginia spent 10, by the way, kept 5 that we're going to spend this fiscal year, but not this portal year, if that makes any sense. So you can actually roll it over as long as you spend it within the same fiscal year. I found out this week. So West Virginia will be spending $20 million next year on football before they go above the cap NIL.
JT,
so that's going to be good.
What did you say, Jake?
JT can only dream of that much up in Salt Lake City.
Oh, unfortunately, that and I wish my head coach might actually be worth the math than me. So that's somehow possible based on his analytics takes. Hey, just saying something.
Stick with the analytics, baby. They don't go wrong.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Locked On Big 12 Squad. For the hat row up here, Jake Hatch, host of Locked On Cougars. Got Mountaineer Paul from Locked On West Virginia. Cody Stovall, Locked On Oklahoma State, who's still looking for a head coach, but playing good ball all the same. JT Wistersill, who's head coach, may or may not retire. Who knows? If the analytics say yes or no, we'll figure it out. Kevin Borba, Locked On Buffs. Darian Gray from Locked On TCU. And new guy Nick Maravitz, who is my enemy this week because BYU.
Go Cyclones! Woo!
Right. That's 2 fan bases that are impossible to hate. All right, don't try to placate us, Hatch.
It's true.
It's gonna be a love fest.
We'll see how it all goes. We'll be back next week. Make sure you subscribe to all of our shows. Keep us employed right here on Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.